Leave a dangerous combat zone now. That is the Israeli military's warning to Gaza City residents as its ground incursion into the city begins. Israeli officials say the long-expected operation started early Tuesday and will proceed gradually, with the expectation of fighting up to 3,000 Hamas militants still believed to be there. Gaza health officials say overnight strikes killed dozens more people. The United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF, warns intensified military operations in Gaza City will multiply children's suffering exponentially. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in Qatar today after visiting Israel Monday. Before leaving Israel, he said time has almost run out for any sort of ceasefire hostage release deal. Take a listen.
Well, as you saw, the Israelis have begun to take operations there, so we think we have a very short window of time in which a deal could happen. We don't have months anymore, and we probably have days and maybe a few weeks, so it's a key moment, an important moment.
Israel's ground incursion into Gaza City is starting on the same day an independent United Nations commission has concluded Israel is committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. Israel refutes the report. We've got Jeremy Diamond live in Jerusalem for us. Jeremy, the Israeli incursion into Gaza City appears to be a critical moment in this prolonged war, given what we've also heard from the UN Commission of Inquiry today.
Yeah, that's certainly right, Eleni. And for weeks now, we have seen the Israeli military laying the groundwork to carry out this all-out invasion and ultimately occupation of Gaza City. We've seen them as they've intensified aerial strikes and artillery shelling of the city. They then began moving into the outskirts of the city, including the Zaytun neighborhood of Gaza City, which is in the southern outskirts of that city. And now the Israeli military says that it has launched the main phase of this invasion with tanks and troops, some 20,000 strong force altogether, heading for the heart of Gaza City. However, it is important to note that so far we have not been able to independently verify the movement of Israeli ground forces towards the city center, whether on social media or from the freelance journalists who work with us and are actually on the ground. What we have seen was certainly a very intense night of aerial bombardments in Gaza City, very much on par with what we've been seeing for the last few nights. At least 38 people were killed in Gaza City alone. And in some of the footage that we've seen from the aftermath of those strikes, once again, we have seen the bodies of dead and wounded children, some of them being treated on a hospital room floor in Al-Shifa, very obviously shaken with shock, tears streaming down their eyes as doctors and nurses tried to treat them and comfort them. We also saw, of course, the wails of parents who lost children in last night's bombardment. What we are also witnessing is the enormous mass displacement of Palestinians from Gaza City. The Israeli military estimates that some 350,000 Palestinians have fled Gaza City so far. But keep in mind, this is a city that had a population of about 1 million. And so that leaves hundreds of thousands more still very much in the potential crosshairs of this Israeli ground invasion into Gaza City. And ultimately, the Israeli military would like to see the entirety of that population forced out of the city and move to the Al-Mawasi humanitarian zone in the central southern part of the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military, of course, says it wants these civilians to be moved out of harm's way. But today, we also learned the size of the Hamas force that Israel says it is going after in Gaza City is only about 2,000 to 3,000 fighters, according to an Israeli military official. And so that is why we are seeing so many accusations right now that what Israel is doing in Gaza City is not just a military operation, but is tantamount to ethnic cleansing, something that Israel, of course, rejects. What Israel has also rejected are these latest conclusions of genocide being made for the first time by a United Nations Commission of Inquiry, which says that Israel has committed 4 of the 5 prescribed genocidal acts Hamas in its military operations in Gaza, including causing Palestinians serious bodily and mental harm, deliberately inflicting conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction, and imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. The Israeli government, for its part, once again vociferously and adamantly denying these accusations of genocide, insisting that its military campaign in Gaza is focused on Hamas. Eleni.
Jeremy, thank you so much for that update. Appreciate it.